Ladies and gentlemen, Investor Talk is back with a mining flash, and after quite a while, I welcome David Cole, the CEO of EMX Royalty Corp there in Denver. Dave, great to see you, and you had something important to announce yesterday.
John, great to be here. Always a pleasure to talk. And yes, we're delighted with the news.
Let's come to your press release yesterday. I show it to our audience in a few seconds. In the past months, you did your usual business. You optioned properties, you sold properties, you made a new deal with Franco-Nevada. You even created an exploration company in the US.
Idaho.
That was amazing. Idaho, yes, absolutely. But the key news came yesterday. Our audience knows that there was a dispute with Zijin Mining about the Timok royalty, and that took, I think, 2 years or so to solve. But finally, 17 months, so you counted even the months and the days. My congratulations that you solved it. What was the turnout, or what is the result now?
So the result is that the royalty rate will be 0.3625%, which is exactly halfway between the minimum that could have been interpreted if the royalty had been diluted, which it was allowed to be diluted within the document, and the maximum if it had not been diluted, which is 0.5. And I'm perfectly pleased with that result. That's only a 27% decrease in the headline number. We do see things from Zijin's standpoint. If I were Zijin, I would have argued vociferously that the royalty had been diluted. It had to do with some peculiar wording. The document was not that well written, and I'd like to point out this is a royalty we purchased, not a royalty we wrote. So it's not my fault, but I was able to buy this royalty for a de minimis amount of money, only 200,000 Canadian dollars, many years ago, before it was recognized that this was a truly world-class generational asset. And so Zijin's point of view, I believe is entirely reasonable, that it should have been 0.225. Our point of view was legally correct based upon the way the document is written. If we went to arbitration, it was really difficult to say what would happen, because in Canada, when you go to arbitration, which is the option that we had, then they can look at what the intent of the document was, not necessarily how specifically it was written. So we believe that it was the right thing to settle halfway in between at 0.3625. What took so long to get it done wasn't the commercial term negotiation. It was actually all of the boilerplate and the legalese within the document, and the fact that it had to be translated between Chinese and Serbian and English and go to attorneys in Canada, the United States, Serbia, and China. So it took a long time. I told our attorneys team that it's more important to get it right than it is to get it done quickly. And of course, we will be paid all of our back royalties, which accumulate up to $6.68 million US dollars. So we've gotten, or we will have within the next day or two, all those monies in the bank, and then be paid our royalty on a go-forward basis. This royalty cannot be ever diluted again or be bought out.
Sounds good. Now let's have a look at the press release itself.
Sure.
Here it is, and as you just mentioned, you get the back payment of 6.68 million US dollars. It cannot be bought back or diluted. I think that is now the game changer for you. That will create for you 3 to 4 or even more million annually income. That is something that the market expected, and the reaction, of course, was more than positive in a still difficult market, more than 8% up yesterday.
So I'd like to point out that the income that's coming in right now is from the production of the upper zone, which is a small high-grade deposit near the top of the mineral system. And that is a nice deposit. They're making good money. We're delighted to get $3 or $4 million a year from the upper zone. They've said that they expect that zone to produce for another 10 or 11 years. But where the royalty really kicks in and becomes immensely valuable is when they get into the huge lower zone and they start the block cave. And there will be a number of years, according to their current projections, which came out in an article published on Bloomberg recently, that says that they will be producing from the lower zone and the upper zone simultaneously for a few years. So we'll be getting double payments there for a few years, and then the payments after they're really going to town with the block cave in the lower zone. This will turn into a truly phenomenal asset.
Let's have a look at the map that you had included in your press release to show our audience what we are talking about. Here is the upper zone, the little green one. The lower zone is the yellow one. And here is your royalty area, the green one, the blue one, and here also another green one. How would the revenue stream change when they move to the lower zone, as you just said?
Yeah, I would say double. Yeah.
Wow.
And the lower zone's a much larger endowment. It'll be mined with a different technology, the block caving technology. And they have announced $3.5 billion capital expenditure to further the production there. And if you could go back to that map, Jan, I've got a few things I wouldn't mind pointing out.
Yes,
actually, I'm very glad that you brought that up. Being a geologist, I love maps, right? so
here you go.
If you look on this map, you see that on the left side, you can see the upper zone is not circular; it's egg shaped. That is actually a body of mineralization, porphyry copper deposit that is plunging to the west. And if you look at the blue outline, you see that on the Brestovac West license, we have a 2% royalty on gold and silver and 1% on all other metals, which is a substantially larger royalty than the royalty we have on the East license, which is 0.3625%. So it's financially meaningful to have a 0.3625% royalty on this deposit. In fact, very financially meaningful. Life of mine payouts exceeding hundreds of millions of dollars, or within the realm of hundreds of millions of dollars. But that body of mineralization at its current depth is only 150 or 200 meters from the 2% line, that 2-1 line, the Brestovac West license. Xinjiang announced that they will be drilling to 2 kilometers depth to continue to delineate the deeper mineralization within this system. And if that body of mineralization or another body of mineralization is proven up and comes over that 2-1% line, then this royalty, just further blows up in value. And so it's great to be in that position. And it's clear from this document that the entire footprint of the mineral system as known today is fully within our royalty boundary, which is important. And then if you go on to look at the regional area, you can see that we have the royalty on the Durlong Potok in addition to the Brestovac West, in addition to the Brestovac East, all of which is covering prospective geological terrain within this Timok magmatic complex, which is the largest historic copper and gold producing region in all of Europe.
So that's a company maker, and that will bring the cash in. Remember when we spoke last time, we were talking about the cash engine that is coming under steam, and now it seems we have, or you have reached a point.
I'm delighted with that. Yeah, we're transitioning from a junior company that's been building a royalty portfolio to a mid-tier company with strong cash flow. And this was one of the dominoes that had to fall to bring that to fruition.
And I think that will prevent you from further stock issues.
All royalty companies need to raise capital to be able to buy royalties to expand their portfolio. We do that less expensively than most because we are building our royalty portfolio dominantly organically through royalty generation. But I'm not going to issue any stock anytime soon at anywhere near the current share price. But it's not impossible for us to issue shares for strategic acquisitions further in the future, but that will be a ways off in time.
David Cole, that's it for today. Thank you for the update. And again, my congratulations for this result announced yesterday. Thank you and have a beautiful, my pleasure. Have a beautiful day in Denver.
Likewise.
Thank you.